Oh, Black Myth Wukong. Let's do that. Let's do that. Previews for Black Myth Wukong dropped since the last stream. It's the new upcoming action adventure game with some Souls-like elements or whatever. Yeah, we already talked about it. You late, Panda. Yo, shout out to Almighty with the sub. Appreciate it. You heard about the Wonder Woman news? Yeah, I got it. So let's see what the people saying about Wukong.
Ahoy, folks. Craigo here for Pure Xbox. Recently,
this video, I've never seen this channel before, but this video hit my algorithm, and I was like, oh, I just saved it to watch for later.
Science's upcoming action RPG, Black Myth Wukong. I managed to get all the way to the end of a 2-hour hands-on demo with the game, so here are my thoughts. The footage you'll be watching is B-roll supplied by Game Science, so enjoy. For most, Summer Game Fest came to a close once Playdays wrapped on Monday. But
so this is playable there.
Game Science, the talented developers responsible for the upcoming action RPG Black Myth Wukong, found time for Pure Xbox the following day, and we're so glad they did because the game is phenomenal.
Yo, he's sliding on them dodges.
Say what you like about Summer Game Fest's opening show.
Drop the demo.
There's no denying
they should drop a demo because this is a new IP.
Trailer dropped, the air left the YouTube theater, and goosebumps were felt by many. So, you can only imagine the anticipation we felt whilst descending to the top floor suite of the proper hotel in downtown LA for a private 2-hour hands-on preview of the game.
You see that hotel over there? That is a proper hotel, that is.
For those who didn't know this already, Black Myth Wukong is inspired by the 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West, considered one of East Asia's most popular literary works. It's not the first time the video game industry has been inspired by the shape-shifting Monkey King Sun Wukong, most notably Ninja Theory's favorable 2010 enslaved Odyssey to the West.
Freezing people?
Our preview began by panning down on an extremely detailed peach. You could even see its individual fuzzies, chilling on the forest floor. Before we knew it, the peach revealed itself to be our shifty protagonist, Wukong. It took just a few seconds to acknowledge that Black Myth Wukong is an Unreal Engine 5 game, so for the next 1 hour and 59 minutes, we knew we'd be in for a visual feast for the eyes.
Perfect dodges.
Wukong with scaling the Blackwind Mountain,
what up, B-Mars?
An early chapter of the game, and is a location familiar to those who know the source material. Our experience with Souls-like games, which Black Myth Wukong isn't, but kinda is, more on this later, is
so it's like
each location is a...
So it's like Jedi Survivor, probably. This is not a Souls game. It's probably not going to be as hard.
Character unto itself. This is just
more of an action game,
if not more so, than the charming Yao Guai that inhabit them. There were 3 locations we pilgrimaged through during our time with the game. The first was a rich greenwood where fallen leaves dance atop reclaimed temple ruins as you pummel wolf-like beasts with Wukong's trusty staff. The second housed several larger temples, swampy marshlands, and boss encounters including a massive white wolf Yao Guai with glowing red eyes, elevating the whole experience to spectacular levels. The third was the summit of Blackwind Mountain at sunset. Here we were faced with a gigantic fire-wielding black bear. I'm not kidding when I say that my heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my neck as the scene was set for this closing confrontation. It's fair to say that Black Myth Wukong goes full.
This game coming out August 28th, I believe,
and doesn't hold back on the thrills either.
Fire bear, help the bear!
Our main weapon throughout the game is Wukong's longstaff, an agile and quick-hitting pole capable of
August 20th? Okay,
20-odd times in a single combo. Wukong is a nimble protagonist, opting for speedy chain attacks to best his foes, and dodges to avoid enemy assaults. There is no...
You can freeze the bear too?
Instead, it
focuses. You got that BBC joint. Game Pass? I don't think this is on Game Pass.
Technically, you can block with LB, which orders Wukong to spin his staff. But this seemed to...
Don't worry, I got Redfall.
Projectile attacks like arrows. If a physical blow were to head his way, he'd have to dodge, which you
instead of a great ape, they got a great bear.
We noted the perfect timing window to be rather generous, which almost balanced the limited defensive options. You can spam X for your fast-hitting combo, or hold Y for a heavy attack.
Oh, that's fire! He got the Goku after image.
This is pretty straightforward stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be on PC.
Things get a bit more interesting where Wukong's stances are concerned, as they alter his moveset. During our demo, we managed to sample 2 of the 3 stances on offer. We began in Smash Stance, a quick combination of moves that reward you for being aggressive.
Hey, yo. Not, hey, imagine dying like that. The frog threw it back on a player.
To pull off heavy attacks. The second stance was made available to us once Wukong reached level 5. We'd like to think of the Pillar Stance as the antagonizing cheeky shit moveset. In Pillar Stance, Wukong sits atop his staff. If you're able to hold this position and build your focus meter, the staff gets longer and longer and longer. This goads his enemies into range before...
You guys need to go back to Neo before you're ready for this? Why? What does Neo have to do with this? That's a completely different developer. What does that have to do with anything?
Unleashing a mega ground slam assault, practically one-tapping anyone caught under his staff. Pillar was our favorite stance. We found ourselves giggling as we squared up to foes perched safely atop our 20-foot tall long staff like some sort of a movable heckling arse hat. The third moveset is Thrust Stance. It was still quite far out of reach when our time with the game came to a close, only becoming available if we hit level 20. I suppose you can blame this on how long we sat on our black iron pillar like the brave little monkey we are. Some final notes on combat are the spells and shape-shifting abilities on offer in Black Myth Wukong. Each offers a wide range of strategic options to control the battlefield in your favor.
I love a game with a perfect
by progressing
dodge.
through the story or by beating specific enemies, Wukong can learn spells. Like the
Man, he really extending that joint, bro. He got a BBC on him.
Demobilize spell, which when cast consumes...
That was a crazy
freeze
punish.
an enemy in place for a limited amount of time, opening them up for...
The after image.
There's no definite number of spells we're likely to see in the game yet, but there should be a fair few.
This developer or reviewer
Wukong,
gameplay?
of course,
I don't
is
know.
known for his
Yeah, he's not doing
shape-shifting
bad.
ability. In Black Myth, he uses these transformative skills to replicate certain special enemy Yaoguai. In this demo, once we managed to best a flame-wielding daddy of a mini-boss, Wukong could adopt their physical form, weapon, and powerful attack patterns for...
Does the enemy attack the after image after you do it?
Yaoguai whenever things got spicy, or when we fancied capitalizing on an immobilized foe, varied the combat and elevated the whole experience. At first glance, you'd be forgiven for thinking Black Myth Wukong was a Souls-like game. There are a lot of similarities to Dark Souls. Vanquish an enemy, gain willpower, kinda like Souls.
So they got
Replenish
rooms.
your health, drink from your gourd, kinda like flasks. You get the idea, right? Black Myth Wukong draws a lot from the genre, but in actuality
crazy
it's
counter.
more comparable to an action RPG. Game Science opted for a more traditional skill tree, instead of tying character abilities to weapons and armor. Stances are unlocked by reaching levels and enhanced by spending...
it's kinda like Stellar Blade
on
then.
foundation skills or stance upgrades. Also, rather than punish the player for dying, it encourages strength and power with an awesome amount of named boss fights. Black Myth definitely feels easier than your traditional Souls-like, but strikes a solid
You
balance
hear that, Scrubs? You don't have anything to fear. You'll be able to play this game too. It's for everybody.
between that and an action RPG. Now, there's plenty more we'd love to say about Black Myth Wukong, but considering the game is still in active development and subject to change, we'd prefer to wait until its full release before definitively expressing how we feel. And before you ask, whilst we shared a room with a handful of developers and PR for Game Science, we were unable to ask about their recent decision to
They said you
delay
gotta do Neo because the stances. Neo did that. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima did it. What's the name? Did it too recently. Rise of Ronin. Neo is not the first game with a stance in it. Who said that?
Wukong for Xbox Series X.
You gotta play Neo to play. What is the correlation?
Readers and listeners will be disappointed.
Star Wars had stances in it too. Jedi Survivor. Like, what are you talking
To
about?
respect our read of the room and celebrate how exciting the game is to play instead. We hope the delay isn't too long, because if our 2-hour session is indicative of what the whole experience is like, this could potentially be in the running for Game of the Year. Good.
That's a bold claim. Who said that?
Black-
Who said that? What's your name? Pure Xbox. That's crazy because it got delayed on Xbox. He said potential game of the year based off what he played. That's what I like to hear. Uh-oh, Elden Ring. Uh-oh. That's one opinion right there. Let me give my man's a like. That was a good video. I'm tired of everyone saying their game is game of the year. Who's everyone that's saying that though? I haven't heard anybody say game of the year for anything other than what's the name last week? Destiny 2. But who you hear yelling game of the year? I haven't really heard anything. And then Elden Ring just came out. The reviews just came out today. So Destiny, yeah, the current Destiny expansion is got a 94 overall Metacritic. Apparently it's amazing. Oh yeah, they did say Dragon Ball Game of the Year, but you know, anime gamers are delusional. You have to let them just talk to themselves. I think he means people should specify what genre of the game is the best game of that year. I think you're putting words in his mouth. LOL, it's Kai ain't played. It's not game of the year. All right, here y'all go.
Impressive looking
All right, let's see what IGN says. Why did the footage so damn ashy?
Is long, with games like Phantom Blade Zero, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, and Wukong Fallen Feathers all having solid showings this summer event season. But there's always been something extra special about Black Myth Wukong. It's stunningly gorgeous. The animations are incredibly fluid, it's steeped in rich Chinese culture, and there's just something immensely satisfying about playing as a Monkey King, beating up all sorts of mythical creatures with a giant extendable staff. While this isn't the first time IGN has gone hands-on with the game, it is my own personal first time with it, and after 2 hours of playtime with the opening chapter, I somehow walked away even more excited for its August 20th release.
Let's go.
IGN China has already done an extensive preview on what Wukong plays like on a
I don't know, IGN had a China division.
Techniques,
Chinese,
stances, and transformations already unlocked, which is great because my 2 hours covered pretty much the very start of the game. The first thing that I noticed as I started playing was how fluid and fast Wukong feels to control. Many Souls-likes are built on a foundation of slower and more methodical combat, but Wukong feels exceptionally quick and agile. From the beginning, there's actually no block button. Wukong can twirl his staff to block projectiles, but as far as melee attacks go, everything must be dodged.
Y'all hear that? No block button. The last guy didn't say that. At least I didn't hear him say it. Run to fade, pussy.
To that end, there's a Bayonetta-style dodge system where you can dodge up to 3 times very quickly, but after the third one, you're punished with a lengthy recovery time to try and curb people from just mindlessly mashing the dodge button. Perfectly timed
So you gotta
dodges
be
will
intentional
reward you
with your
extra
dodge.
Focus, and once your focus bar has been filled, you get a focus point that allows you
Yeah, I don't
to
block him from
strong
soft
attack
either,
into your
so
light combo string for a big chunk of
I'll
damage.
be alright.
Later on, those focus points can also be spent on different types of special moves that you unlock in the skill tree, which we'll get to a bit later. Wukong also has access to a number of spells that consume his mana. I only really got to play around with the Immobilize spell, which, as you can imagine, stops an enemy in their tracks and allows you to sneak in a few hits before the spell's effect wears off. Stronger enemies
BBC
and especially
blade.
bosses are affected by the spell much less, and sometimes they were able to shrug it off entirely. Even at just an early stage, combat was a fun dance of actively looking for opportunities to avoid enemy attacks and find openings, keeping an eye on my focus meter so that I can use a damaging heavy attack whenever I had the chance, while also managing my mana and cooldown for my Immobilize spell. Eventually, I got my first
I noticed some enemies have health bars and some don't, like right there. Like, is this older footage or...
And a hugely damaging super attack that he can use out of a dodge if he manages to build up a focus point. One of his moves in this transformation is a lightning fast dash attack that made me feel like I had basically turned into the boss that I got the transformation from. Later on, I added
think
another
only big
tool to
bosses
my
got health
repertoire,
bars?
the Tower
Interesting.
Stance, which swapped out my chargeable overhead strong attack for the ability to stand on my staff and avoid
Got
damage
that thing
the ground
on. That's
as long as my
fire.
stamina held out. If I managed to stay on the staff,
You're never gonna catch me.
Charge, I could spend it to leap off the staff, flip it around, and come crashing down with a powerful strike that felt incredibly cool to pull off. These stances, along with my general combat abilities, could all be upgraded through a level up system that works a lot like Sekiro's. As you defeat enemies, you'll gain will, which builds up a bar in the top right of the screen. When the bar is full, you gain a spark, which can be used to purchase upgrades from one of your various skill trees. Once you fill the bar and bank a point, you can't lose it. You can even add that point wherever you want, not just at a shrine, which serves as Wukong's version of a bonfire-like checkpoint.
That's
However,
good, you can upgrade
if you
anywhere.
die before you manage to fill the bar, a portion of that experience will be lost in typical Souls-like fashion. Don't let that trick you into thinking that Wukong is an easy game though, because it certainly is not. Enemies are aggressive, bosses are relentless and even more so in their second phases, and you only have a scant few restorative potions to keep.
So this is basically, it sounds like Ninja Gaiden with some Souls elements to it, is what it sounds like to me. It doesn't play like a Souls game, just like the bonfire and like the runes part, but it has an RPG and it moves like a Ninja Gaiden.
Yourself alive.
Which I'm not opposed to. I like Ninja Gaiden.
Boss room behind a waterfall that took me to a dragon boss that absolutely wrecked me. Fortunately, you can teleport from shrine to shrine, so you can come back to him much later down the road once you've upgraded your gear and add some more points into your skill trees. And speaking of gear, I didn't manage to find all that much, but I did find enough to at least know that there are sets of armor that grant extra bonuses for wearing multiple pieces of gear from that set. The levels themselves were fairly linear with a couple of branching points that led to some sort of treasure or item pick.
So we like to hear linear games, chat. Linear games.
The real star of the show, though,
This is a game about fading.
even in just
Run
2
the
hours,
fade.
I fought against a wide variety of bosses, from a speedy
What up,
wolf
Monty?
boss that I snagged my first transformation from, to a mule-kicking frog in human clothes, to an extremely difficult 2-phase battle against a snake man. All in all, I greatly enjoyed my time with Black Myth Wukong. Even in just 2 hours of playtime, I felt like I got to experience a lot of combat progression, and am excited to see how things will continue to evolve as the game goes on. We won't have to wait much longer to see how the full game shakes out, as Black Myth Wukong releases on PC and PlayStation 5 on August 20th.
It's looking good. It's looking good. It's looking good, chat. It's looking good. That's Black Myth Wukong right there for those that was interested in the game. August 20th is going down. It's looking good. Gaming season is almost here. Ladies and gentlemen, it starts on Thursday. At least if you're on PC. If you're on console, you gotta wait till Friday to hit the Earth tree. But you know, I don't even play games like this for real. But this is day one COD for me. You gotta get it. You gotta get it, bro. Gaming is dead. You're right. Gaming is dead, and it's all because of these DEI samurais. Assassin's Creed Shadows Yasuke will have his own assassinations variant. As noticed by a user on the Assassin's Creed subreddit, YouTuber JorRaptor, Assassin's Creed Shadows associate gameplay director, has said that Yasuke can do assassinations, but these won't be the usual type of stealthy assassinations the fans are used to. So the only true assassin is Naue. He doesn't have a hidden blade, Ubisoft says. So what he does, we call brutal assassinations. He uses the weapons that he has with him. So every melee weapon he has is able to do some variant of assassination. Yeah, you just cut a nigga head off, basically. These brutal assassinations aren't new to the series, with entries such as Assassin's Creed 3 featuring similar assassinations with a certain weapon is equipped, but it does aid in creating a clear distinction between Naue and Yasuke. Yeah, one's a brute, one's not. If this news disappoints you, don't worry. While Yasuke will act as more of the combat-focused character in Shadows, anybody looking to scratch the stealth itch will be able to take control of Naue, who will be equipped with a hidden blade. Samurais will be combat-heavy, and the shinobi will be stealth-heavy. No way. Ubisoft said in the video last month. That's old shit. He doesn't free run either. Nah. I seen a video where like he's not good at like climbing and all that shit. Like you can climb ladders, like real basic stuff, but if you're really trying to get around on the rooftops, you're gonna have to play Naue. You're pretty much running through people with him. So it really comes down to what play style you have. At least you know you can get two different playthroughs. You know, 2 different playthrough styles. The mechanics they show in the one scene, like the best stealth ever in Assassin's Creed. The movement looked real saucy. Ryan Gosling has officially been cast as Ghost Rider in the MCU, if anybody cares. I know the name, but I meant to Google the face. The dude from Barbie. Y'all like that pick? Y'all like that pick? What other movies he been in? Blue Valentine, La La Land, The Notebook, Drive. I don't know any of these fucking movies. I know his face now. Blade Runner 2049. That one got good reviews. Bring Nick Cage back? No, those movies were not good. Yeah, I'm not really too familiar. I know his face, but I'm really not too familiar. I know him from Barbie, which is crazy. I like him as an actor. I have no opinion. I gotta see. Which Ghost Rider though? I don't know. That was just the report that I found on the timeline. He said hashtag not my Ghost Rider. Just putting it out there. Keep an eye on it. That means they're working on it. Keep an eye on it. Question is, will it ever come out? Because Blade still ain't come out. And then last but not least in this batch I got for you, YouTube will soon ask audience to add context to videos. I never thought I'd see the day, but YouTube is copying Twitter. YouTube is testing a way for viewers to add community source context to videos. The feature, called Notes, will allow people to add bits of information to clarify things like whether a video is a parody or contains older footage presented as the current event. If a note is considered helpful, you might see it pop up in a small box beneath the video. YouTube says only a limited number of eligible contributors can write notes for now, while third-party evaluators will rate the helpfulness of the notes. YouTube will then use this feedback to train its note evaluation system over the coming weeks and months. As the pilot progresses, YouTube will eventually start asking viewers whether they consider a note helpful, somewhat helpful, or unhelpful, and to explain why. It will then feed these responses into the algorithm, which will determine whether a note is broadly helpful. Blah, 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 blah. The age of clickbait is coming. It's over. The age of clickbait is coming over. It's over. I mean, it's coming to an end. Yeah, the grifters are about to be in trouble. And I got some news on that too, the grifters. People who are just spreading. Because you know, one thing that, no, it's about the video. It's not the thumbnail. But at least you know when you click on a video, you know how accurate it will be as soon as you get there.